we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, y'all. This is Dana. Welcome to Boozy Bee's Books and Cocktails. I am with author Gail Haris today. She was so gracious to come to Strawberry and meet with me and talk about her book. So we will talk about the book, and then we're going to make a cocktail that I matched up with the book. We have been talking before I started taping and got into some really good conversations. So I wanted to have y'all included in the conversation. So here we are.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Thanks for coming to Strawberry. I really appreciate it. So let's talk about your book. Gail had, when I reached out to Gail, we've been trying to do this for a little while.
Yes.
And
Just everything keeps getting crazy.
Crazy. As everybody knows, their schedules are probably crazy as our schedule. So I reached out to Gail and I was like, would you come and be on the program? And she said, absolutely. And I said, well, what book do you want me to read? And so she said Stolen Hearts is the book. And I am just so impressed with this book.
Oh, thank you.
And honestly, I'm not just trying to fluff you or whatever, but I was just blown away and wanted to shout it from the mountaintops and everything. So, and I texted you a couple of times because I kind of got aggravated. But so the book is so good. And there's several characters in the book. And so it starts out with Olivia and her mother, Cindy. Is that correct? Okay.
Yep.
So Olivia is about 17 years old. She's starting into her senior year of school. And they live in Colorado. And her mom is, to me, very loving and kind of to herself. She has a sister named Andrea, and that's kind of the only people that she kind of deals with, except for Angie, Olivia's friend. And so the mother is very, almost like a helicopter mom, I would say.
Very protective.
Yes. And so, and I'm going to go ahead and say what happens because it's in the main part of the book, and then it kind of goes from there. But so Cindy goes to work, and Olivia gets the call that no child ever wants to get, and that's that her mother has been killed in a car wreck. And if that's not devastating enough, as she's going through her mother's stuff, she finds a box way in the back of the corner of the closet. And so she, as anybody would, pulls this box down and she finds all these items. And she finds a journal. And there she finds out that she is the product of a kidnapped baby.
Yes.
And what a turn that has to be for that kid. She has an aunt. She has a mother now that's dead, and she has what she thinks no other family to rely on. And I just couldn't imagine being put in that position. You know, like when my dad died, I was left the only person of my nuclear family. And I had some questions because he never talked about a lot of things after my mother passed away. And that left me with a lot of questions about my upbringing and family life, as anybody, even with living parents, would. And so here she is, and she gets thrown into her real family. And that's, to me, where the drama in the book really starts. So tell me about Melissa.
So I love Melissa. And I feel like Melissa is, everybody knows Melissa. And I feel like Melissa is somebody that you can see, you could almost relate to in yourself, your mother, because at some points you think Melissa she's being terrible here. Like, she's being terrible, but at the same time you understand, well, okay, Melissa's been through a lot.
Yeah.
So Melissa is Olivia's biological mother, who she was, the story came from where I saw myself as Melissa because after my daughter was born, I had a moment where I went crazy. I was super protective. I'd seen way too many Lifetime movies. I'd read way too many articles. And this was my first child, even though in the story,
second.
Yeah, she's a second child.
Right.
But I had ordered pizza because my husband was at work. I didn't feel like cooking anything. I had a new baby. And when the woman came, she commented on how beautiful my daughter was. And after she left, I was just kind of left with my thoughts. And I was like, oh, she knows where I live. She knows I have a newborn. I have a baby. Like, what if she decides to take my baby? And so that is where it happens. Cindy delivers a pizza. And she sees this baby. And she starts stalking Melissa. And I also wanted to point out the dangers of social media.
Oh, yeah.
Because, sorry, my hair just keeps blowing in my face.
We are outside and there's bugs and...
Sorry. No, I thought it was my hair. I was like, so she stalks her on social media. She finds out their trips to the park. And, you know, when Melissa is busy with the older son who runs off.
Yeah.
That is when Cindy...
Doesn't she say something about a puppy?
Yes.
Yeah. So she uses a tactic that's very common for a child. Oh, I've got a puppy. I can't find my puppy.
He's little.
Yeah.
And poor Trent. And that also kind of turns into his story, how everybody is affected by this.
Yes.
Because he blames himself.
Yes.
Melissa blames herself. Everybody blames himself.
Richard.
Yes.
You don't say really much about Richard and how Richard...
He's kind of tries to just keep it together.
Yeah.
He just because he's in a hard spot. He knows his wife is being extreme on some cases. But at the same time, he understands that, okay, we have her back. You know, we're only hurting her when we talk bad about the woman who kidnapped her because...
She was in a good place. I mean, to be kidnapped.
Yes, Cindy loved her.
Cindy loved her and took care of her. And so it was, it depends.
Yes, and it kind of shows that it depends on who's for what, which viewpoint you're looking at this, who's the villain. Because in Cindy's story, Melissa was the villain because she already had a child and she felt like a victim, like the world had been unfair to her.
Oh, yeah.
And, so she's just going to take a baby. Okay, that's wrong. We know that's wrong.
But you can almost understand.
And then here, Olivia loved this woman, loved her. She saw her as a mother. And no matter what anybody said, she could not see her as a villain.
And she felt bad because she loved Cindy in front of Melissa. And I think Melissa just was a very complicated, and you did such a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Because, like I said, I texted you one night and I was like, and you said, keep reading.
Yeah.
Because Melissa was just a really important character in this book. And there's several different characters. I mean, so when Olivia goes back home, they want to change her name back to Sarah.
Yes.
That was her original name. And so Olivia is having problems with the name Sarah.
Yes.
And the identity of Sarah, because when she lived with Cindy, they didn't have much money. They scrimped and scraped around. And the Randalls are a very wealthy family in this very small town in Missouri. So she goes from Colorado to Missouri. And that's a big change for her.
Yes, the culture shock just kept getting stacked.
Yes. And so here she's a only child with Cindy, and now she's the middle child of the Randalls. Well, no, the second oldest.
Yep.
Because there's Landon, which is a lovely character, and Denise. And so when she gets to the home, she bonds with Landon. And I love the character of Landon. Everything about Landon I loved, except for the moment where we're not going to talk about that.
Yes, a lot of people.
I gasped. I was like, "Oh my God, what did she do to that sweet boy? Why? You know?" And I mean, it was just from the moment I picked up the book to the moment I ended the book, and it's a series.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to love series, but since I've started this, I don't read as much series because I have to constantly be reading, you know, something. Yeah. But I have, what is it, Forbidden Kisses?
Yes, Forbidden Kisses.
I got about halfway through and I had to stop because I needed to finish. I've always got like 2 or 3 books going. Yeah. Always. And I just finished this one book and it was like a 23-hour Audible book, which is like 900 pages. And I'm still not, I don't think I caught the thing. So I'm always reading. But I'm interested in seeing where I will get to it. No, I will, because I want to see if you, and don't tell me, but I want to see where you take the character of Denise, if she's in anywhere, if like her story comes out, because you don't say much about Denise. The second book is about Trent.
Yep, the oldest brother,
and his relationship with Sarah also. We hadn't even talked about Noah. Oh my gosh, Noah. So
poor Noah.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny because Noah is Olivia's cousin that she doesn't know much about.
Yes.
And so he happens to live in the town where Sarah was kidnapped, where Andrea lives with Noah. And so when she goes, she, meaning Olivia / Sarah, goes back, there's Noah. And Noah is the cousin that she doesn't know, but really not the cousin.
Yeah, turns out they thought they were cousins, but now they're not.
Yeah.
He's just her kidnapper's nephew.
Yeah. Yeah. And Noah's a lovely character, too. I love Noah. So I'm glad that what happens, you know. And he's there for her during the funeral. That's where it kind of starts, but doesn't. So when she goes to high school, Noah is there, and he's kind of the protector. But Trent really doesn't like Noah, which Trent is in college, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So there's just a lot of little nooks and crannies and yummies in there. And
yes, because, you know, the Randalls see Noah as a threat.
Yes.
Because he is connected to the kidnapper. And it's like, no, we want that part of her life gone.
Yeah.
And whereas she is still wanting an anchor, a bridge between these worlds. And so she looks to him as like, okay, there, he can fill that gap.
Yeah. And he realizes what she went through with Cindy, knowing the love that Cindy gave. And even though,
well, they had no clue.
Yeah, right. That was shocking too. I think that I was like,
well, because Cindy just ran off and then fabricated the story that she had a baby.
Yeah.
And, you know, just wanted a new life with her new baby. And, you know, nobody thought anything of it.
And Michael had started, her ex-husband had left her after her craziness. And he had started a new life and they had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrea had a baby, Noah. And so she felt really left out, and that kind of made her a little, you know, cuckoo there for a little while. But it's a great book, y'all. I'm telling you, I was just, I think because of the town that you're from, Kennett. That's where my daughter lives, and so that's how I met Gail, is through my daughter. Soccer fields. I couldn't remember where we had met, and I had been wanting to read your book for a long time, and I'm embarrassed that I haven't read your book. That it's not been in my
no, it's completely fine
to be read or whatever. But I'm so I just can't put in words how I love this book so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
another thing that makes me love this is I really had not read anything like that. You know, it's always about the bad part of kidnap. I mean, you know, kidnapping is bad, but it's always the kidnapper has been abusing the child and, you know, that kind of thing. A long time ago, I remember the book called something of the ocean, and they made a movie about it. Michelle Pfeiffer was in it, and the kid ended up being like her son was kidnapped and was gone for a long time, and he ended up being like a mile down the road. And I have to look. I can't remember the name of that book, but so it brought a different perspective to this kind of book, and so I was just really thrilled, and to think, which is crazy of me to think that we have so much talent around here, you know, like local talent from a little small town, and so and I watch you on social media, and you go to all these book fairs, and you know, which is so, I would think, very, very fun.
They are fun. They're very fun. Good times are had.
Yeah. So this book is, to me, a little young adult, not really youth, but
coming of age.
Yeah, coming of age. Yes. Yeah. So, but Gail is known for writing. How do you describe it?
Well, I have steamy small town. I do a little bit of the morally gray, dark romance, and rom-com. This is probably my most tame book. And yeah, I just love having characters where nobody is a perfect person, but nobody's exactly a villain. And I just love you know, it depends on whose point of view it is. Because I feel like that's how we are as people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's a hero in somebody's story. Everybody's a villain in another person's story.
Yeah. And, you know, you can be in the same room. And my brother and I used to talk about this all the time. Because when we would remember a memory, we would both remember it completely different.
Yes.
So, to me, the complexity of the characters in this makes this so interesting to me. Because you do it from everybody's point of view. You know, like you said, Trent, he was 2 or 3 years old, maybe four, maybe, and he felt guilty at a 4-year-old, feeling guilty that he was the cause of this. The mom, and so you bring in all of these complex characters, and it just flowed so well. It just did so good. I've been reading books a long time, and I'm telling you, you made me gasp a couple of times, and not over the sex scenes.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to stop here, and we're going to go to the bar, and we're going to make a Pomegranate Cosmo.
Ooh, this is so good.
And the reason I chose this for you is, one, because Sex and the City made cosmopolitans very popular back in the day, and you write about sex stories. And then 2, Pomegranate, you're Greek, right? Or your husband's Greek. Okay, your husband's Greek, and pomegranate is kind of a Greek symbol thing. So I kind of put things together, and so that's how I came up with the Pomegranate Cosmo. And y'all, it's early in the morning. I mean, it's not 12 yet, but we're going to go ahead and have a cocktail.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Isn't that what they say?
That's right. And so we're going to pause for a few minutes. We're going to go to the bar, get everything set up in the bar, and then come back. And then we're going to talk about Gail's, the author, Gail, and about her other books and what made you choose being an author and the steps of getting to be an author. So we will be back, and our hair won't be blowing and bugs won't be in our faces. So we'll be right back.